so going back to that video. Now, for some reason, the thing wasn't popping up on my end, so yeah, we're gonna just skip the 30-second countdown. However, the New Orleans Saints are playing the Carolina Panthers today, and that's why we're here. However, man, Atlanta, they only got, if the Saints win today, guess Atlanta only has one more win than we do, but yeah, we're this trash team, though. Because why?
Because Atlanta Falcons suck.
They do some sucking now. But yeah. And we usually end off, but just so I don't forget, I'm gonna try to see if the Saints, Panthers, and Actives are up and running yet. Yeah, they're.
Oh, they
so I think so. Hold on. Yeah. All right. So for the Saints, Alvin Kamara has been ruled out. Akeem Richards has been ruled out. Justin Reed is questionable. Zaire Mitchell-Payton, Christian Boyd, Rajon Wright, and John Ridgeway have all been ruled out. And for the Panthers, they will. Let's see. For the Panthers, they don't really have that many injuries. Like J.C. Horn, Claudian Careless, Cade Mays, Lathan Ransom, and Christian Rosen were all expected to play. So like nobody's really like the inactives aren't out, but you could probably make a guess of who's going to be playing, and who's not going to be playing. Alvin Kamara, he was ruled out, I think Thursday or Friday, so we already knew he wasn't going to be playing. And I'm going to be honest with you, I just don't think Kamara is really, like, and this pains me to even say this, Kamara's just not good anymore. Like, he had a great run, but he's at that running back age cliff where it's like, once you turn over 30, you're just not really that valuable. And as much as I hate to say it, I think that's Alvin Kamara now. Like, you still see flashes from Alvin Kamara's game, but it's not what it once used to be. But anyways, let's get into this Panthers-Saints game. As this game will be today at 3:25 p.m. Central Time for Week 15. And now, for all of those tank fans that want the Saints to lose, I don't understand why, but all those tank people, well, the Saints remain scheduled at home against the Carolina Panthers, at home against the New York Jets, at the Tennessee Titans, and at the Atlanta Falcons. Two of those teams, the Jets and the Titans that we play, have a better pick than the Saints. The Saints currently, if the season ended today, would pick 5th in the 2026 draft. So for all the tank fans, I mean, that's some news. If they lose to the Jets and Titans, then they'll most definitely be in the top 5. But I'm not one of those people, but some people are. I don't know. And now the Panthers are remaining scheduled. Now they're trying to see if they can win this division, which it's probably more likely that they win it now. There will be, like the Panthers, their remaining schedule. They'll be at the New Orleans Saints, hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, hosting the Seattle Seahawks, and at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again. Panthers and Buccaneers are fighting for this division, and they play each other twice in the next 4 weeks. So that's literally the prime opportunity for anybody to take over this division. So, how do you so I have 2 questions for you, Dad. First, do you think the Saints, or do you want them to get that top 5 pick, or would you rather win out and see what you have in some of these people?
I definitely not rooting for tanking. Maybe I was like that for a minute earlier this season, but now I just want to see a quarterback develop. I want to see some of these young players develop, and that might include winning some games. So, if we go on a streak of, if we win the rest of the games, I'd be a very happy Saints fan. And you might end up with like a pick still in the top 10, which is fine with me. I'm looking at this draft. There's no really difference from the 3rd pick or the 8th pick. I mean, you're going to end up with somebody that can help your football team, and that's all we can ask for, really.
Yeah. And now the second question I got. Do you think – now I'm going to remind you, the Panthers, their next 4 games, the Saints, Buccaneers twice, and Seattle. Do you think the Panthers can win this division?
I think they will win this division. I think the Buccaneers are in a tailspin right now. Baker Mayfield has come back to earth, and he's not playing very good football right now. So I think that the Carolina Panthers are in a really good position. They're playing well. They don't have, a very tough schedule going forward. I think the Panthers will win this division.
Yeah, now if we look at the playoff picture, look, the Saints, they've been out of it. The Saints realistically have been out of it since like week 6, to be honest with you. But they mathematically have been out of it since the Dolphins game. But honestly, you could probably make an argument that they were out of it after week 3 when you got blown out by Seattle. But the Panthers, I mean, they're still in it. The Carolina Panthers actually hold the 4th seed in the NFC right now. Because with the Buccaneers losing to Atlanta, the Panthers are 7-6, Tampa Bay 7-7. Now, the only reason Panthers are number 1 in the division is because of the winning percentage, because Panthers haven't played this week's game yet. So if the Panthers lose, I think Tampa Bay will reclaim the 4th seed. But if the Panthers do beat us today, which hopefully does not happen, this is literally flip-flop from last week. Last week, Panther fans were hoping we would beat the Buccaneers to bring them to number 1 in the division. And this week, the Buccaneer fans are going to be rooting for the Saints to beat the Panthers so they could take the first place back. You see how the world works sometimes? It's crazy. Last week, we helped the Panthers fans. Now this week, we got to try to help the Bucs fans. But yeah, the Saints, look, we currently are the 14th seed in the NFC, and we're already eliminated. The Panthers, however, are the 4th seed in the NFC with, if they currently have a 46% chance to make the playoffs, aka win the division, because that's how they can gain 2 teams in. If the Panthers beat us today, they'll have a 63% chance. But if they lose, they'll have a 25% chance. Which I still think is a little bit low because, they played the Buccaneers twice. So if they can even beat Tampa Bay once, that's going to help them a long way. But yeah. And also, not to mention, Week 10, the Panthers did lose to the Saints 17-7. So we'll see, if we can sweep them this season. Tyler Shuck in Week 14 had 144 yards and an interception, 65.4 rate, but had 239-plus yards in his 3 previous games. So how confident are you that Tyler Shuck can keep up the momentum against the team that he started this run against?
Very confident because, like I told you last week, that I've seen enough. I've seen all I need to know if Tyler Shuck is going to be the franchise quarterback going forward, and the answer is yes. So I'm very excited. I think he's going to continue to develop, and we don't have too many great defenses left on our schedule, so he has, that's good if you're trying to develop a quarterback. So you're not worried about Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt running after you all game long, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, who defensively really scares you? Like the Panthers defense, they're all right. The Jets defense, not good. Titans defense, probably worse. And the Atlanta defense, the Atlanta defensive line, I will say, this is me giving y'all credit, Atlanta fans. Don't say I'm just hating on y'all. I'm about to give y'all credit here. Their defensive line, they can get some sacks. I think they've got 5 sacks in every single game almost. However, AJ Terrell is probably one of the most overrated cornerbacks I've ever seen in my life. Atlanta fans, they act like this man's Darrelle Revis or prime Jalen Ramsey. Man, I don't know if you watched the game on Thursday, but this man had 5 penalties alone. AJ Terrell had Atlanta had I think 18 or 19 penalties. Atlanta, they are the first team with I think 18 penalties since the 2019 Browns or something like that in a single game. And AJ Terrell had 5 of those. We can fry him in week 18. I'm not worried about no AJ Terrell Jr. There's a reason he's a junior. So I don't think defenses really scare me. Obviously, it's any given Sunday, and any week a trash defense can play good football, but it's highly unlikely that the Jets defense turns it around. But yeah, the Saints offense in week 14 versus the Buccaneers scored 24 points. They were 5 for 11 on third down, and we say this all the time. If you want to win games, you got to score in the red zone. Well, they were 2 for 3 in the red zone, and we won the game. So, and the 24 points we scored last week was the most points in a Shuck start. When we scored that 24 last week, that's the most points we scored on the Tyler Shuck at all. We played, so his first start was against the Rams. We scored 10. Panthers, we scored 17. Atlanta, we scored 10. Dolphins, we scored 17. But then we got 24 against the Bucs. Let's keep it going. However, the defense we will be going up against is not good at football. Panthers defense this season, I actually said that they're all right. I don't even know if they're that for real. As the Panthers defense has given up 22.8 points per game, which is 16th in the league. They are 29th on third down, and the Panthers defense only has gotten 18 sacks, which is 31st in the league. So, what do you think the Saints offense can take advantage of today?
Everything. I think we're going to take advantage of everything. That lack of pass rush, I think, especially with our poor guards that we have, it's good that we're going to have a week off today playing against the Panthers like this. So we don't have to worry about Cesar Ruiz being turned around all game long. Hopefully. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
So we got that, and, there's some matchups we can exploit in the secondary as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, the biggest weakness on Carolina's defense right now is their defensive line. However, I don't really know if I really take too much stock into that. This is a divisional game, and whenever two teams play inside the division, every team's ramped up. I won't be surprised if there's a couple offsides penalties on either way because they're just ready to go after Shuck. I won't be shocked if there's a lot of false starts just so they don't go to Shuck. So yeah, I think it's gonna be an amped up game. The Saints offense this season has given up 3+ sacks in 3 straight games, though. So if there's any game for the Panthers defensive line to get on track, it's against our offensive line. But I could say the same thing about our offensive line against their defensive line. We just have to see how that goes into fruition, whatever. In week 14, the Saints gave up 3 sacks on 20 passing attempts. The Panthers' pass defense in 2025 has given up an 87.4 rate, which is 10th in the league, and 12 interceptions, tied for 7th in the league. So the Panthers have a strong secondary unit. They know how to pick off the ball. I mean, they're top 10 in that, for crying out loud. So what is the passing offense going to have to do to make sure that Shuck don't turn the ball over?
Well, like you said, we had 3 sacks in the last few games. Taking a sack is not a bad thing sometimes. I'd rather him take a sack every now and then than, oh, Lord, I'm about to get hit, so let's throw it up for grabs. So, I mean, you can look at that both ways. So that's what I think. He's just going to have to make great decisions. He's going to have to continue to develop, get the ball out quick. And like you said earlier, 24 points was the most in a Shuck start, right? Well, part of developing, part of getting better. Let's see if we can get more points. Let's see if we can get 26, 28. So that's what I'll be looking for. Get some more scores. Score some more touchdowns, not field goals.
Yeah. I mean, the Saints and the Titans are the only team. They're the only – well, no. I was going to say the Saints and the Titans are the only two teams to not score 30, but the Titans just scored 30 last week against the Browns, so that's kind of irrelevant. So the Saints currently are the only team in the NFL to have not scored 30 points.
Let's do it today then.
Yeah, let's hopefully do that today. I'm telling you, there's going to be 1/3. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm telling you, either against the Jets or the Titans, we're going to get to 30.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the most points that we've technically scored this season was 26 against the Giants, but we only scored 19 of those offensively because I don't know if you remember, but late in that game, the defense had a scoop and score, so that doesn't really count towards the offense points. But yeah. But now let's talk about the running game. As we mentioned earlier, there will be no Alvin Kamara. However, Devin Neal last week in his, I want to say that was his first career start, 19 carries for 70 yards, 3.7 yards per carry, and a touchdown. Alvin Kamara did not play, so that was him starting. So, what is the running game going to have to do in order to beat the Panthers today?
Well, Devin Neal's going to have to continue the great play that from last week, and I like to get more look at Evan Hull. I think he showed some flashes of running hard. The few times he's gotten the ball, so I'm gonna be looking for that. I think he'll get more carries today.
I want to see Estime get some action because there was a couple runs where he was magnificent, and I'm gonna say I think the Saints probably have the most underrated running back room in the league, at least one of them in my eyes. And also, they're showing this right now. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but can we agree that this is probably one of the worst Heisman races in modern time?
Yes.
Like I have nothing against Mendoza, nothing against Fabi. I think they're two good quarterbacks, but the Heisman's like the MVP. Like that's like saying if for that Mendoza won it. That's like if I was to say this season Bo Nix was your MVP winner for going 11-2, and Bo Nix has not been that good this season. That's like saying if Bo Nix. That's like saying if for Caleb Williams was the MVP winner. Like he's good, but he's not great. That's like saying if I don't know, freaking Cam Ward won the MVP. It's like, what is your take on the Heisman race this season?
It seems like Mendoza just came out of nowhere. I mean, I know he's been doing his thing all season long, but have we really started paying attention to him since the last, maybe 4 or 5 weeks? Yeah. So, I mean, I think just the big thing is, he just beat Ohio State, so people just saw that. I think they'll beat Ohio State again if they play again. I mean, I think he's that much of a problem for them. But yeah, it seems like a weird year as far as Heisman Trophy goes.
Yeah, I never thought we would live in a world where the Vanderbilt quarterback almost won the Heisman, but here we are. Yeah. But anyways, let's get back to that. I just had to throw that out. Like the Heisman race this season has just been an absolute joke. It's like, Anyways, the Saints defense this season has given up under 21 points in each win, which we've only won 3 games. Against the Giants, where you only gave up 14. Panthers, you only gave up 7. And Buccaneers, you gave up 20. All 3 of those are under 21. Week 14, like I mentioned, the Saints defense gave up 20 points, and 3 for 13 on third down were the Bucs. And the passing offense that they went up against last week, Baker Mayfield, only had 122 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And the Saints pass defense has given up under 182 yards in 4 straight games. And the quarterback they're going up against this week, Bryce Young, last time he hit the field was week 13, where he had 206 yards for 3 touchdowns and a 147.1 rate. This season, he has 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and an 87.9 rate. And the offense he leads has scored 30 to 31 points in 4 games this season, But then the week after that, they would have only scored 9 to 13 points in games that followed a 30 to 31 point game. So the Panthers offense is inconsistent. It's literally 1 week they score 30, the next week they score 9. So do you think, and now the Panthers offense scored 31 last time they played. So if this thing goes full circle and if history repeats itself, that means the Saints defense is primed for only allowing 9 to 13 points. So we'll see if that actually happens today. So do you feel confident in our defense stopping Carolina, knowing that's that?
I do. I think this will be a week that they only score 13 points. I mean, their offense is so hit or miss. I mean, it's you either get great offense, or like offense didn't show up today. I don't know what that, and you get more of the latter, in my opinion, than great offense from the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I mean the Panthers offense, they have the capabilities of being a good offense. They just have to show it. Tedero McMillan this season, their shiny first round toy. 57 receptions, 826 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He has scored a touchdown in 3 straight games, Tedero McMillan. And Jalen Coker this season. So he has played in 7 games where he's averaged 32 yards per game and a touchdown. And then another part of their offense, Rico Dowdle, he's averaged over 70 yards per game, 4.8 yards per carry, and 5 touchdowns, along with 19.5 receiving yards per game. And Chuba Hubbard this season, 39.4 yards per game, 3.9 yards per carry, and a touchdown. And 17.6 receiving yards per game. So, what is the Saints' run defense going to have to do to the Panthers' running game? And what is the secondary going to have to do to make sure that they don't throw the ball all over us?
Just show up, because I think all those things are going to happen. I think Bryce Young still gets confused with zone defenses and, defensive coordinators mixing it up. So I think we'll definitely have to do that. And, man, I like those game plans where, Alante Taylor comes off the corner in blitzes. So, and I think that's going to be in there. So expect, that's my hot take today. Expect Alante Taylor to get 2 sacks. Booyah.
Man, Alante Taylor, he loves the Panthers.
He does.
He loves them. Every time he sees the Panthers on the schedule, he's like, I can't wait to have my best game of the season, bro. I can't wait, man. I don't know why, but every time he sees the Panthers come out on the field, he's like, man, I'm gonna play like an MVP. It's crazy. Man, he loves the Panthers, bro. If the Panthers didn't exist, he probably would have retired. Because he would be like, man, I need to play against a team called the Panthers. But yeah, thank you, Panthers. But now, to end off the show, we are going to do what we always do. We're going to the history department. The first ever meeting between the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints was in 1995. When it was a day to forget for all Saints fans that watched that game, as the Panthers beat the Saints 20-3. But good news, the Saints lead the series 33-28. So that's nice. Do you remember anything from the 1995 game where we lost 20-3?
Was that the Diddley Poo game?
It might have been.
I believe that might have been Jim Mora's last game or something. I remember the press conference after. He was like, we couldn't pass the ball. We didn't try to pass the ball. We didn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We didn't do diddly poo. that's what he said. We should look it up. So that's what I remember. Jim Mora just going off, and I think he quit soon after that.
Hold up. Hold up. It was against the Panthers. I'm just trying to see if it was like the exact one because it said something else. So I'm just going to the history and see if that was the game. Give me 1 second. But it was definitely against the Panthers. I just don't know if it's that same game.
And look that up. When was Jim Morrow's last year? Was it with the Saints? Was it 95?
I'm gonna look that up too.
Y'all in for a history lesson today.
Yeah. Last year with the Saints. His last season was in 1996.
Oh, okay. So it was the second year of the Panthers. We had a really bad game, and he went off, and then he quit.
Yeah. The day he quit, it wasn't the 20-3 game. It was when we lost 19-7 against the Panthers in October 20th, and it said he resigned, aka quit, after we lost to the Panthers that game. So it was against the Panthers. It wasn't the 20-3 game. It was the 19-7 loss in 1996. So it would have been a year after the 20-3 game. So that's your history lesson if you didn't know, because I didn't know until I looked it up this morning. So yeah. Anyway. And when I say this morning, I mean like 2 minutes ago. Anyways, now let's get to these experts. You already know the deal. Panthers 24-21. Saints 20-17. Panthers 21-20. Panthers 20-16. Panthers 24-17. Panthers 23-20. Panthers 17-13. Panthers 30-20. Panthers 21-20. Panthers 23-20. So that means only one person picked the Saints and 9 people picked the Panthers. And so basically they're saying that the Saints and the Panthers were to, like, if the Saints and the Panthers were to play 10 times, Saints are winning 1. What do you have to say to those people?
Is it the same one that always picks the Saints?
Yes. Yes, it is.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, let me play the diddly poo comment from Jim Morrow. I just found it. Well, let's see if this is it.
Well, what happened was that second game, we got our ass kicked. Or the second half, we just got our ass totally kicked. We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked. The second half, we sucked. We couldn't stop the run. Every time they got the ball, they went down and got points. We got our ass totally kicked in the second half. That's what it boiled down to. It was a horse performance in the second half. I'm totally embarrassed and totally ashamed. Coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in that second half. It sucked. It stunk.
Okay. That was it.
Okay.
Telling it like it is. Then he resigned the next day.
It's crazy. Anyways. So what is your prediction for the Saints Panthers?
My prediction is just like our one guy that picked the Saints, I'm going to pick the Saints. And I think we are going to have some home cooking. And I pick the Saints to win 26-20.
I hope you're right, but I'm going Panthers in this one, 32-20. Because it's hard to beat 2 teams in one season. And the Panthers, we beat them earlier in the year 17-7.
Bring out those brooms, boy. I want to see some brooms.
I want to see some brooms too. And don't get me wrong, if the Saints beat the Panthers, I'll come on the post-game show tonight with a whole broom and I'll start sweeping something. That's what I'll do if the Saints win this game. But I try to be realistic when I make these picks. I just think that the Panthers, they're in the midst of a playoff run. And the Saints are just trying to play spoiler. But sometimes playing spoiler is not enough to win games. Connor says, what's YP Vase? Or what? Are you trying to say what's up, boys? I mean, nothing much. We're about to get out of here. So shout out to Connor for coming in last minute. Dad, do you have anything else to say?
Nope, we're good.
All right, Dad, where can they find you?
Mic'd Up YouTube channel on Hurricane Mike Show every week.
You can also find me at Hurricane Mike, Kyle Phelps, and Keeping It Real, Who That Sports Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn the bell on so you don't miss another upload. And Dad, we're going to leave them as always with a Who Dat, and don't be a what?
Don't be a Falcons fan. Even though you might end up with a better record than the Saints, you still suck.
They do suck, man.